as we have forgiven our debtors. Matthew 18:21-22. Then Peter came and said to Jesus, Lord, if I am another member of the church sin against me, how often should I forgive? As many as 7 times? Jesus said to him, not 7 times, but I tell you, 77 times.
Jim and Sherry, thank you. So listen, I'll play it all day long. And Rebecca, thank you for that meditation this morning. We're in week 3 of a 4-week series of kind of exploring us, inviting us to think a little more closely about the words of the Lord's Prayer. A prayer many of us grew up saying in church every Sunday and memorized. Of course, I never learned it in Aramaic, but I just had this vision of kind of disciples sitting on a hillside. Jesus, teach us how to pray. And that was just so beautiful. Thank you for that meditation, Elizabethton. The Lord's Prayer, if you've been following along, it's kind of split into two halves. There's the half that focuses on God, and there's the half that focuses on us and our response and our action. And part two of the prayer, well, both parts have three petitions in them, really. God part, and then our part, three petitions for sustenance, for forgiveness, and for help with greed or temptation. We talked about sustenance a little last week. And it strikes me when the disciples asked Jesus how to pray. Ask him for a model of prayer. This is what he offers. And it doesn't include any of the hot button topics like we might want guidance on today, or hot button topics of Jesus' day. He doesn't say about abortion you should pray this way, or about issues of racial or economic injustice you should pray this way. He certainly deals with those kinds of issues in the way he lives his life. But as a model prayer, this is a very brief prayer. And it focuses less on any kind of specific topics that we might be inclined to pray about, and more simply on how we can, through a prayer like this, make ourselves more attuned to the mind of Christ. And part of that imitation or mindfulness of putting ourselves in the same mindset as Christ includes forgiveness. I don't know what version of the Lord's Prayer you grew up saying. I'm Presbyterian, so we always said debts, but trespasses, or we forgive those who have sinned against us. Actually, if you were here last Sunday, our invitation to worship, I pulled out the Lord's Prayer from a book called The Historical Jesus Goes to Church. And I decided I really liked the way that it was phrased in there. It said, God, overlook our many stupidities and help us to release everyone else from their own stupidities. Kind of nails it. So forgiveness is clearly an important topic for helping to set us in the mind of Jesus. And it's one that Jesus certainly demonstrates throughout his life, all the way up to as he is there on the cross and says, God, forgive them, for they know not what they do. Or from that other short excerpt that Wallace read for us a moment ago, when Peter asked Jesus, Lord, if somebody else in the church sins against me, how many times do I have to forgive them? Do I have to do it as many as 7 times? And Jesus says, no, as many as 77 times. I feel certain Peter raised that question, hoping for a more manageable number. The implication there being that if he only had to forgive 7 times, then woe be unto that person for his 8th trespass. Because then we're talking salt and earth kind of vengeance. But Jesus tells Peter, no, you must forgive either 77 times or 70 times 7 times. It depends on the translation you look at. But the number is obviously not the important thing here. I find it interesting that Peter asks about forgiving someone who has sinned against him. The Lord's Prayer teaches us to ask God first for forgiveness for the ways that we have sinned against God, and then prompts us to forgive others, and certainly does not mention any limits. Neither of those exchanges, kind of the one in the Lord's Prayer, Peter asking Jesus, neither place any kind of conditions on forgiveness either. You don't say forgive your neighbor if he sends you a nasty email, or forgive your neighbor if she gets mad and yells at you. They also don't say forgive your neighbor as many times as he or she asks for forgiveness. So this is one of the things that's really interesting to me about forgiveness. Is that in all of the talk that Jesus has about forgiveness, and the way that we are taught it in the Christian tradition and the Gospels, forgiveness seems to be a burden that falls on the people who have been wronged, and not on the people who have wronged us. Forgiveness is work that we are called to do. It's not work that we are to wait on somebody else to initiate. And that's honestly where I struggle with forgiveness sometimes. Because I find that in my life experience, it really does seem to matter to me a lot what the other person does or doesn't do. It feels like a lot of my ability to forgive somebody depends on whether or not that person recognizes that they've offended me and apologizes. It feels like my ability to forgive depends on whether or not somebody is contrite and seeking forgiveness. But the way that Jesus talks about forgiveness has nothing whatsoever to do with the actions of that other person, that other party, the person who has wronged us. Instead, it is wholly dependent on our own internal attitude and not on anybody else's actions. So we can certainly acknowledge that it's easier to forgive some people than others. People who say, I'm sorry. People who didn't set out to hurt us. Even people, I think, who did not meet our expectations. Of course, we have to be self-aware enough to realize that we have placed expectations on them. But if only forgiveness could be as simple as an undo button on a computer. Click it and the act could just be reversed or whatever, but we know that's impossible. Words once said can never be retracted. Words can never be truly taken back, truly undone. So forgiveness can be even more challenging, I think, if the hurt was intentional. Sometimes it is challenging because someone failed to live into the expectations we had for them. But to recognize that means that we have to also acknowledge our own culpability in putting our expectations for someone else onto them. I can usually figure out how to forgive somebody if they ask for it. I can usually figure out how to forgive somebody if I recognize that they didn't mean to hurt me. I can figure out how to forgive somebody if I recognize that they were just operating under a different set of presumptions or values or expectations. What about forgiveness when someone sets out to hurt us intentionally? What about forgiveness when someone's goal is not reconciliation, but instead is revenge? That's where I really start to have issues with the way that forgiveness is taught in the Gospels. Because the Lord's Prayer seems to suggest that our forgiveness from God depends on our ability to forgive somebody else. Jesus' response to Peter there is that Peter is the one responsible for forgiving the wrongdoer over and over again without end. And so why is it that the requirement to forgive is placed upon victims as an obligation? It's placed upon the person or people who have been wronged. As if the victims or the wronged, aggrieved parties, those who have already suffered, then have to be the ones who go out and fix things to make them okay again. Instead, even in my own life, I have an easier time forgiving as a response to repentance, but repentance even is something initiated by the wrongdoer. And so even in that case, I have to acknowledge that my forgiveness is still not something that begins with me. Even Peter's question takes that into account a little bit. I cheated a little bit on the reading that Wallace read. We just had to start at the end of the story, but if you back up, it follows this section on kind of church discipline, I guess, or church order. And Peter's actually asking the question, if somebody in the church engages in unacceptable behavior over and over again, how many times should I let them have a do-over? As many as 7. I think all this is an important distinction. Because forgiveness is not a matter of saying it's okay. It doesn't matter. Because we have to be honest with ourselves and acknowledge that being hurt does matter. When we hurt each other, by mistake or by intention, when we hurt each other with our words or our actions or our inactions, it matters. Forgiveness does not wipe away the hurt as if it was never there, or as if it isn't significant. So I also don't think it's helpful to see forgiveness as a Christian obligation. Of course, healing is a good thing. I think demanding that someone else forgive is a bit like taking a grieving person and demanding that they just get over it. Human hearts and souls do not heal on demand. There's a professor at Yale Divinity School who's from Croatia named Miroslav Volf. He's done a lot of work on this concept of forgiveness, and I've found some of what he has written to be tremendously helpful. And he writes, first, that forgiving begins by naming the injustice, naming the wrong, and condemning it. And that while forgiving and forgetting may be the ultimate goal, forgetting never precedes forgiveness. That forgiveness is a movement, a journey toward not counting the wrongdoer's action against that person. So he says that really, ultimately, forgiveness and giving are very much related to one another. And that forgiveness is a particular kind of giving. You think about it this way: when we give, we seek the good of another person. Not primarily our own good, hopefully. When we give, we try to enhance the joy of someone else by making up for what they lack. So if you've ever given $5 to somebody on the corner of the street as you drive by, hopefully you are trying to offer something that they can then use for some need and fill a void in their life with something you have. So that's giving, right? Seeking the good of another person. Forgiving, he says, is something that is both a gift to someone else, but also a gift to ourselves. And it's a gift to somebody else because it can release somebody else of the burden of their wrongdoing. But it is a gift to ourselves in that it also relieves a burden that we carry. Forgiveness is an alternative to revenge. Revenge multiplies evil. Retributive justice contains evil and threatens the world with destruction. Forgiveness offers to overcome evil with good. Forgiveness mirrors the giving and the generosity of God. So one of the ways that Wolf suggests that we move toward this kind of forgiveness is by learning to recognize one another's humanity. That becomes the first and most essential component of forgiveness. To see, even in somebody who has wronged us, who has hurt us, who has sinned against us, to recognize that that is another person, a human being, an individual created, loved in the eyes of God. It's an extension of loving our neighbor. Always see human beings as human beings. To never allow another human being to become a caricature in our mind. And I've read this book before, I read it again this week, and it dawned on me how much, when I watch the news or read the news, think about the way in which we hold political discourse, that we have taken half the country, no matter who we are, and made them into a caricature instead of a human being. It's an easy way out, making somebody else a caricature. But in order to forgive, to build a community, to be neighbors, we have to begin moving beyond caricatures to see other people as human beings. It doesn't mean that there still won't be times that forgiveness seems out of reach. Maybe there's been no repentance on the part of the person who caused harm. Maybe enough time has not yet passed. Healing can take place. Maybe the consequences of the wrong are still ongoing. But we also have to acknowledge that all of that anger, that bitterness and grief and depression, it does take its toll on us. None of us wants to be a victim for the rest of our lives. None of us wants to be or needs to be defined by the sin of the wrongdoing of somebody else. At some point, we need to be free. Forgiveness is a step towards securing our own freedom. Sometimes we can do that unilaterally. Sometimes it is a way of us simply saying to ourselves or aloud, "You have hurt me and that's not all right, but I have decided that I am no longer going to let this event ruin my life. So I release you, the offender, whatever karma or judgment your offense will bring you. You are in God's hands, but I will let go of my need for understanding or restitution or apology. I am going to start my life over again. I will be free of whatever you have done to me." That too can be a form of forgiveness. So is forgiveness a good thing? Absolutely. Should it characterize our lives? Absolutely. But it cannot be compelled or forced. In the end, I think forgiveness is dependent on grace and on healing. Forgiveness cannot be forced, but it is an act of grace. The 19th century Russian novelist Leo Tolstoy noted that by forgiving evil, a person is able to swallow up evil and prevent it from going any further. That every time we do that, we make the world around us and our own lives just a little more grace-filled and free. My last pitch here, if this is a topic that intrigues you, that you wrestle with, you find difficult as I do, and maybe many of us do, please do join us on Saturday. Bill and I are going to dive into this more, try to explore this some more, and hopefully offer some practices that can help all of us move along this journey. So that's my last pitch for our retreat this weekend. Let me invite us to stand and join together in our hymn of response to be number 675.